5-star Hyperspace Portal Shiny Hunting is one of the highest levels of Shiny Hunting in the Mega Dimension DLC for Pokemon Legends ZA, and they are filled with a ton of exclusive and rare Pokemon that you can only get in the endgame. So I'll be showing you all the tricks for how to grab these exclusive shiny Pokemon, how to evolve them, the side quests for their items, and for everyone in my comments on my videos and on live stream who are asking about what macros I use, don't worry, we'll be talking about them later in this video because this video is sponsored by 8BitDo. 5-star Hyperspace portals unlock after you defeat and catch Rayquaza and complete the special scan side mission, which takes place after you finish 25,000 points for a mission for Carbo and Felipe. And then once you go to the Rust Syndicate HQ and talk to them, they will do a special scan. This will give you a 5-star legendary Pokemon mission, a 5-star battle zone, or a 5-star hyperspace that needs to be completed. And only after getting another 25,000 points will you be able to do another scan with Felipe in order to get a new 5-star portal. And as of right now, there is no way to manipulate or hard save to change what you're going to get. We've tried this a bunch of times on stream in many different ways, and it did not work out well. Felipe is a rough person to do scans with. If you want to speed up the 25,000 points, you can do Mega Pokemon battles, which respawn after you beat them once you rest, or you can do 4-star battle zones, and you're only going to need about 3 runs total between all of them. The backup save trick is going to be extremely important to know in this game. When you fast travel to a location in the overworld, it will automatically create a backup save. If you close your game, reopen it, and at the start screen, press the D-pad up along with X and B at the exact same time, you'll load in at a Pokemon Center confirming you've done the backup save correctly. A backup save needs to be used only if you get the wrong RNG effects of a donut and before you enter a hyperspace portal. Now, let's talk about donuts. For sparkling donuts, you need to focus on getting sweet high and also keeping it at a 5-star donut to make it easier for catching shiny alpha Pokemon. I like to focus on a combo of Tanga berries, Haban berries, or a combination of them both, so I can get a sparkling power level 3 along with an alpha level 3, but if you're not into alphas, you can go with whatever you choose for the secondary option. Remember, having a sparkling 3 donut of a specific Pokemon type, or for all types, will guarantee a shiny mission when you walk inside of the zone, as long as it matches its type. And don't forget that once you fast travel after making the donut, that will cause another backup save, which will lock in your donuts. Now, let's do one more fast travel to lock in before we go into our 5-star hyperspace portals. The first Pokemon that we'll be talking about is how to get yourself a shiny Gimmighoul that you can evolve into a shiny Gholdengo. You're first actually introduced to a free Gimmighoul in the early game of the DLC by initiating side mission 122, where you'll talk to an NPC where they'll hand you a Gimmighoul and they'll request that you evolve it and hand you a bunch of Gimmighoul coins. Now, Gimmighoul coins are going to be easily found while you are exploring all of the hyperspace portals. Those are going to be these sparkles on the ground, and you'll notice that you will constantly build up with them all the time in your inventory. However, you need to be aware that you can only have a total of 999 in your inventory at all times, and anything beyond that is pretty much just a waste of picking up. Now, unfortunately, this specific Gimmighoul that you get from this NPC is going to be shiny locked as it is a gift, and I personally suggest that you don't evolve this one and use the coins, but rather save it for the 5-star hyperspace portals when you do unlock them. Once you successfully re-roll a 5-star hyperspace portal, you'll see that it is going to be a ghost specific one, and it is only going to have chest form Gimmighouls in it. Now, as soon as you walk inside, you will see Gimmighouls, and you don't have to worry about any other Pokemon spawning around you, which makes this shiny hunt one of the easiest 5-star shiny hunts to do. All you have to simply do here is just do the fast travel method over and over again until you finally get yourself a shiny Gimmighoul. And yes, you can also get this in alpha if you have the appropriate donut, and none of these are going to be shiny locked, which makes this a really awesome way of getting a very rare Pokemon as a shiny. Once you get your Gimmighoul, all you have to do is just open your inventory, and once you have your 999 coins, evolve it into a Gholdengo. Also, a fun little fact, if you still bring the shiny one to the NPC, he's gonna ask that you give it to him. He doesn't even know which one was the original one you gave him. He just wants you to show him a Gholdengo. It doesn't matter. So because of that, I no longer feel bad for this NPC, and you could just say no. Okay, before we move on, let's talk about today's video sponsor, which is 8BitDo, which is actually insane because we've been talking about these controllers and how amazing and high quality the Pro 3 actually are before we were even sponsored. And so many of you who are subscribed to the channel have actually picked up this controller, and you all have gotten a ton of shiny Pokemon. hold on. There's already 2 in front of me. Hold on. Wait, there's already... Wait. Oh my gosh, we got Alpha. Dude, we have the whole thing shiny. Hopefully this thing is still in stock. Now, the 8BitDo Pro 3 is actually one of the perfect controllers for the Switch 2, especially this DLC, because it can automate all your shiny hunts, especially the ones in this video that we're talking about. Now, there are 2 efficient ways of shiny hunting in the DLC, and the first one is going to be entering into a hyperspace portal, checking out the spawns around you, and then fast traveling on loop for this over and over again until you get your shiny. Spot the purple, we're good. Oh! Yo! That was so cool! Oh my god! 2! We got 2! For this, you can use the macro that I have on screen over here, which is made for you to easily get your shiny Pokemon and go fast travel very easily. The only way you have an issue with this is if there is an aggressive Pokemon right in front of the spawn, but you guys all know the backup trick to swap the spawns. Now, the next method is by finding a teleporter inside of the Hyperspace Wild Zone where you're able to go back and forth, which will cause Pokemon to despawn and respawn until you get a shiny. Just make sure that they are in a despawn range. For this macro, I simply just did an A spam macro that you could just initiate, and I'm gonna have that on screen over here. It's pretty simple and it's on repeat. Now, the best part is you can download the software for this controller from the 8BitDo website, and when you update it and then plug in your controller, you can create a profile and place these macros on your controller. I actually added the fast travel macro to this button right over here, and I added the teleporter to this one right over here. So you can add as many macros as you want to the controller when you initiate the profile. It's really, really cool. We've also created a very big community around this controller and have an entire Google Sheet with all the macros from the base game for shiny hunting, as well as DLC ones that are constantly being added since the DLC has come out. Also, as a quick bonus, 8BitDo wanted me to let you know that you all can join their official Discord server where they will be doing a giveaway for the Pro 3 controller. All links for the macro sheet, 8BitDo affiliate purchase link, hopefully it doesn't sell out, as well as 8BitDo's official Discord server will be in the description below. So now let's move on and talk about the next 5-star Hyperspace Pokemon. Alright, now let's talk about a Poison 5-star Hyperspace portal that has Galarian Slowpoke, Galarian Slowking, Galarian Slowbro, as well as Overqwil. Now, back in the early game, we actually made a video on how to get Hisuian Slowpoke, and all you had to do for that was do side mission number 39, which is trading an NPC a regular Slowpoke, and you would get this Galarian Slowpoke, and then you would do side mission number 75, where you battle this girl over here on the map, and after defeating her, she would give you 2 specific items, the Galarica Cuff or the Galarica Wreath. So you might already have that in your inventory right now if you did not evolve your Galarian Slowpoke. FYI, the Galarica Cuff is going to evolve it into Slowbro, and the Galarica Wreath is going to evolve it into Slowking. If you don't have the items for Galarica Wreath or the Galarica Cuff, you can use a donut with item power special in order to go find these in 2-star zones or above when you break the Pokeballs within the Hyperspace portals. It gives you a chance at getting those specific evolution items. But remember, it's only 2-star above. The Galarica Wreath and Galarica Cuff do not spawn in a 1-star Hyperspace zone. Now, even in this game, without having to do the 5-star Hyperspace Wild Zone, you can actually get a Galarian Slowpoke and shiny hunt for it in a Psychic level 3 Hyperspace Wild Zone. You'll be able to find them there, and I was actually able to get some Slowpokes from this. However, the reason why we're talking about a 5-star Hyperspace portal is because you could get the Galarian Slowking in the wild, as well as the Galarian Slowbro, but the most exclusive unique Pokemon that you're going to be able to get here is going to be the Overqwil. Now, here's just a little fun fact and a fun tip that you could use when you're hunting in any of these zones. I only had a Sparkling Psychic level 3 sandwich, but I was entering a 5-star Poison Hyperspace portal. Because I knew that Galarian Slowpoke is a Psychic type, I knew that I could get something to shine within the zone. And when I walked into the Wild Zone, I was able to see the Slowpoke be a shiny Pokemon. However, I was trying to go for the Hisuian Quillfish or try to go for the Overqwil. So what I did was do a backup reset, which we've talked about earlier, and after doing the backup reset, I then came back to the portal and the shiny transferred over to a completely different species. Even though it was Psychic power, it went all the way over to the Dark Poison type Overqwil as soon as I walked in. So even if you have the shiny donut for all types, Dark type, Poison type, or Psychic type, it doesn't matter. You can just do the backup trick to try to transfer the shiny onto another Pokemon. And simply by doing that, you can get yourself an Overqwil. Luckily, in this zone, I was able to also find an extra shiny Galarian Slowpoke, and I was able to get myself a shiny Galarian Slowking, which blew my mind. Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! That's a dream ball. Oh my gosh, 3 shinies is so crazy. Now here's a little fun fact. If you happen to get yourself a shiny Qwilfish and you want to evolve it into a shiny Overqwil, all you have to do is just find a training dummy or find some shards on the floor, and you're going to use the move Bar Barrage 20 times. You can just do it on the Fighting Dojo dummy like I said, or you can hit a bunch of shards in the area that break, and they also count as targets. The next Pokemon we're going to be hunting for in a 5-star Hyperspace portal are going to be Aerodactyl, Tyrantrum, and Aurorus. Now before I go a little further, a Rock 3-star Hyperspace Wild Zone can get you an Amura or a Tyrant, so you can shiny hunt those 2 specific ones right over there, while an Ice Hyperspace 4-star Wild Zone can get you specifically Amura. So you don't technically need a 5-star Wild Zone in order to hunt their final evolution or get them in Alpha, because you can get these in Alpha within their own respective zones, which are much lower than the 5-star. Now just for a fun fact, in the base game, you unlock fossils once you do side mission number 27, where you help a NPC restore a fossil. At the time, the only way to get a fossil was to revive it 1 at a time. The shiny charm did not work at all when it came to reviving fossils, and the shiny chance was 1 out of 4,096. If you were to try to get an alpha, the chance was a 1% chance of happening, which means if you were trying to get a shiny alpha within the base game, it was 1 out of 409,600 chance in order to get a shiny alpha fossil. Now, in the DLC, a shiny charm plus sparkling power level 3 donut makes the shiny odds so much better with a 1 out of 585.57. That is ridiculously overpowered and absolutely insane. Now, when you do the rerolls, you'll find a 5-star Hyperspace rock portal on your map. And when I went inside, there was Amuras, Aurorus, there was Tyrantrums in the back, Tyrants there, as well as Aerodactyl. Now, my brain made one of the biggest mistakes in the game because I did not register the fact that I could get Aurorus or Tyrants from earlier zones. So I made the mistake of immediately spotting a 5-star Aurorus and saying, oh, I'm gonna catch that one right away, not realizing that's not very special to the zone. The Pokemon that you should be going for in a 5-star Hyperspace portal for the rock type is supposed to be Aerodactyl. This is the only way that you can actually shiny hunt an alpha shiny fossil Aerodactyl Pokemon. So if you ever run into the zone with a guaranteed shiny Pokemon, go ahead and do a reset until you get the Aerodactyl, and make sure that the Pokemon are right in front of you. Every time that you go and do a backup save and walk back into the portal, the spawns can shift around where the Aerodactyls could be next to you or in front of you, or the Tyrants can shift around, or the Auroras can shift around. So make sure to do that in order to specifically shiny hunt the Aerodactyl so you don't mess up like me, because it's going to take a long time for me to reroll and probably get an Aerodactyl. Next up, let's talk about how you can get yourself a shiny Rotom. Before you can quickly get one of the most important side missions that you should do is side mission 170. In order to access this mission, you're going to have to start Hyperspace mission number 9, Lumio survey number 5, speak with Corbeau, and then when that's unlocked, you can find these 2 specific NPCs on a rooftop near Wild Zone 18 right over here. You'll see that they will introduce you to Rotom and its various forms. Talking to them will then start a series of battles where you must fight against every single Rotom form, with each encounter explaining how that specific form works. After defeating all of them, the mission rewards you with the Rotom catalog, which is going to be a very important item that will allow you to freely change Rotom's forms at any given time. This makes it so you don't have to individually hunt for every single form, and you can catch any single one that you see and then just change it using the Rotom catalog so you can collect them all very easily. Now, for this, you're gonna have to re-roll with Felipe until you get a electric zone. Once you see a 5-star electric zone, you're then going to enter it, and the beautiful part about this is that it's only going to be Rotoms inside of this area. In my example, I entered one of those small sewers and there were Rotoms everywhere around here. All I had to do was just quickly do the fast travel reset over and over again, and I was able to get myself a Rotom with no problem. Make sure after every shiny that you get, you save so you can keep repeating the fast travel over again until you can maximize on the total amount of Rotoms that you can get. Remember, you may also be able to get other forms in here as well as trying to get some alphas. The real challenge is who in the comment section is going to get all forms in alpha. Let me know if you did it. Now, the next Hyperspace Hyperspace portal is one of my favorites, and it's going to be the 5-star Dragon Hyperspace portal. Now, this one specifically is really good because it has Pokemon like Hisuian Sliggoo in it, Hisuian Goodra in it, Arctibax, Frigibax, and Baxcalibur. And if you walk in there with a Sparkling Dragon level 3, you're going to be easily able to hunt all of them. Now, if you personally want to target a steel type like the Hisuian Sliggoo, Hisuian Goodra, it is a hybrid steel dual type, so you can go in with that Sparkling Donut if you want to have a higher chance of that one showing up as shiny, or if you have an Ice Donut and walk in, you'll have a higher chance at the Arctibax, Baxcalibur evolution line being shiny. However, this is going to be the perfect spot to get all your dragons. In small hyperspaces, it's going to be quick and easy for a reset as they're all going to spawn within the area. On small hyperspaces, I do suggest you do a backup save to get the spawn closer to you for the specific Pokemon so you can see more spawns of that Pokemon. There was tons of Hisuian Sliggoos in the small hyperspace I was in, and sometimes it would spawn into Hisuian Goodras, and I was actually able to get one very easily. And if you do happen to get a Hisuian Sliggoo, all you pretty much have to do is level it up, and it evolves in the rain. That's pretty much it. So it rains, and Sliggoo becomes Hisuian Goodra, and you have a Dragon Steel type. With the Arctibax, Frigibax, and Baxcalibur line, this one's going to be pretty important because the online events for the ZA Battle Club is going to have the Mega Evolution Stone for Baxcalibur, and this is an important one that you definitely want to shiny hunt, even though it's not that great looking of a shiny, but it's still the shiny at the end of the day that you would want to Mega Evolve. The next 5-star Hyperspace portal is going to contain 2 important Pokemon, Hisuian Avalugg and Baxcalibur, but this one is going to be specifically for the Ice typing. So when you get yourself the correct donut and you enter in, one of the main things that you should actually be focusing on for this specific 5-star portal is going to be the Hisuian Avalugg. The reason why you need to really focus on Hisuian Avalugg is because the Bergmites that are found inside the zone are still going to evolve into regular Avaluggs no matter what. So the only way to get specifically the Hisuian Avalugg is by shiny hunting within this zone. Now, if you want a trick on how to shiny hunt and get Hisuian Avalugg to show up much easier, I do suggest that you go for a Sparkling Power 3 Rock type. Reason why is because Hisuian Avalugg shares a Ice Rock typing that separates it from Arctibax and Baxcalibur and gives you a higher chance of guaranteeing that shiny to show up when you go inside the Hyperspace zone. Once you do that, you should have your Hisuian Avalugg, and you should be good to go, and we can move on to the next zone. Now let's talk about 2 bonus Pokemon, and I'll explain why exactly these matter for 5-star zones, but these specifically are going to be Armarouge and Ceruledge. Now in the game, there's going to be a side quest number 132 where you get to choose an evolution item from this NPC, the Auspicious armor, which will give you Armarouge when you put it on a Charcadet, or the Malicious armor that gives you Ceruledge when you put that on a Charcadet. And whatever item you choose from this quest line is what you're going to be locked into for a very long time in the earlier part of the DLC, because there's actually no other way to get the opposite armor for a very long time. Now, Charcadet is going to spawn in any 2-star Hyperspace portal or higher, and this could easily be shiny hunted with the appropriate Sparkling Power. I managed to get myself 2 alphas that were actually shiny. They look really good when they evolve. But what I specifically wanted to talk about was once you get one of the evolutions, how do you get the armor for the other? Well, only in 5-star Hyperspace zones is where you'll be able to get the specific evolution items that drop from those Pokeballs for Armarouge or Ceruledge, and you have a chance at getting that. You can enhance your chances of getting this armor very easily by having the item power special at level 3, along with possibly a big haul power level 3, which is pretty much just reliant on you making the appropriate donut that focuses on attributes in sour flavor. Basically, a big yellow donut over 400 is going to help get you what you exactly need. After that, you can just go around the zone, break some Pokeballs, and you eventually will get the evolution item armor that you'll need in order to evolve it. Also, please don't waste it on a regular Charcadet in the early game just to finish your decks. Make sure to get at least one shiny in the early game to use one of the armors on. It's rough when you get a shiny and you don't have the items to evolve them. Now, there are other 5-star Hyperspace portals that exist in the game, but they aren't very exclusive or rare. They'll just be special. For example, there are 2 Eevee Hyperspace portals with evolutions that depend on which one you go out of the 2. 2. I bumped into one on stream where the Pokemon that showed up there were Leafeon, Glaceon, Sylveon, and Flareon, as well as a bunch of Eevees that would spawn. And then the other Eevee portal that I didn't get access to would be all the other ones like Umbreon, Espeon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. They also have a fire one which contains all the evolutions for the fire starters, as well as one for the grass with the grass starters, and a water one with the water starters. They are pretty cool to get, but they should not be high priority because you can find these Pokemon in 4-star or lower hyperspace portals. So you don't really have to use a sparkling level 3 on those if you choose not to. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this one on your screen right over here.